I was right. Kinda. What I learned from this weekend was that I'm pretty good at picking favorites, and I am terrible at picking scores. You can do with that information what you will. If I predicted a blowout, it was close, and vice versa. That means that in my next prediction video, I should just predict blowouts for the good of football fans everywhere. I will make another video with my NFC and AFC championship predictions, but for now, I'm just gonna look at the games we already had. These games were super fun and incredibly competitive. Thank goodness we didn't have a weekend like Wild Card. The Packers and Niners had a classic NFC duel that ended the same way it has for years. Texans lost in blowout fashion to the Ravens, but this game was close all the way until the second half. But that Ravens defense was stifling. The Texans didn't score a single offensive touchdown all game long. The Lions and Bucks went down to the wire, and both quarterbacks, who were pretty much forgotten, put their teams on their back. Unfortunately for the Bucks and fortunately for the Lions, someone had to come out with a win. Chiefs Bills delivered another all-time classic, but the two most haunting words in Buffalo Bills history still linger. Wide right. I want to touch on something that I've noticed throughout the course of these playoffs. It seems that this is a you can't escape your past type of playoffs. So what does that mean? It means that every team, well, just about every team that had a previous playoff match ended in the same result.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Let me explain. This year's teams have been continuing their losing streaks to playoff opponents, meaning the same teams keep knocking them out of the playoffs. Here are a list of the teams who were able to escape their past. There may be something brewing for those teams, but we'll talk about that later. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about those who were not as lucky. Browns, Texans. You have to go all the way back to 1988 for the last time these two met in the playoffs. That was a great game that the Browns lost as well. Okay, so technically they actually lost to the Oilers, who ended up becoming the Titans, so it's not really the same team, but it has Houston in the name, so I'm rolling with it. This is what got them in a meeting with the Ravens where they would end up losing ultimately. Now, the Texans actually lost to the Ravens in their first venture into the postseason, so inevitably their past was going to come back and haunt them. It was another game on the road, and they were playing with house money then too. Unfortunately, they still didn't quite have enough to get past the Ravens. Packers and Cowboys. You don't have to do a lot of research to know that Aaron Rodgers has been owning the Cowboys for years. The Cowboys have now dropped 3 straight in this matchup. This year, it looks like Rodgers gave the keys to Love so that he can continue more than one trend. It's the trend of beating the Cowboys and then losing to the Niners. See, while the Packers have been 3-0 on the Cowboys, they've been 0-5 to the Niners in the last few postseasons that they've met. So they made the Cowboys relive their past only to have their own catch up to them. Lions, Rams. Now this one you have to go even further back for, all the way to 1952. That was the last time that these two teams met in the playoffs. And the result then, well, the Lions win over the Rams. Now, people may say that this latest playoff win was unexpected for the Lions, but they've owned the Rams for about 70 plus years now. Eagles versus the Bucks. The Eagles, for whatever reason, just cannot make it past the Bucks. The last 3 times they met in the playoffs all resulted in Bucks wins. For now, no redemption story for the Eagles. Sorry, guys. Bills Chiefs. Now, the Bills escaped one part of their past only to have another one rear its cruel and ugly head once again. The story is the same for the Bills every year. They'll beat the Chiefs in the regular season only to lose to them in the playoffs. Any Bills fan anywhere will tell you that they would give all those regular season victories away just to beat the Chiefs once in the playoffs. Which brings me to my next point. If you notice, the Bills beat their past only to lose to the Chiefs, which means ultimately they couldn't run from their past forever. Both the Lions and the Chiefs are playing teams that they lost to in previous playoff matchups. Now, this could mean nothing and this could mean everything. If we're going based on the fact that just about every team has had their past catch up to them up until this point, that spells doom for the Lions and the Chiefs. Also, on top of that, if you follow the logo conspiracy, it's looking like we would have the Ravens Niners, which was the plan all along. Me personally, I don't know what to think. I don't know if their past is going to catch up to them or they'll end up getting over the hump. Do you guys think these teams' past will end up catching up to them eventually? Is this just another crazy conspiracy? Find out on the next episode of NFL Z. I'll catch you guys on the next one.